Quick reminder before the video starts, if you guys are buying any cards from Blazing Vortex or just any cards in general, please use my link in the description below to tcgplayer.com. I really appreciate it when you guys use that link. It does help out the channel quite a lot. What is up, guys? Dzeeff here, and welcome back to yet another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Icons, the new series that I've been doing over the past couple of weeks, where basically we talk about older iconic Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and how they've changed over the years with new retrains. Today we're talking about Galil Dragon, a card used by Bandit Keith in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, and I feel like this is one of the more well-known coin flip cards in the game. Galil Dragon has had plenty of retrains over the years. It has a very interesting history, and in today's video we're going to cover all of those retrains and talk about how they were good or how they were bad. If you guys enjoyed today's discussion, make sure to subscribe for more episodes, and if you missed any of the previous episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Icons, I'll make sure to link them at the end of today's video. Galil Dragon was released in June of 2002 in Metal Raiders, so obviously it's been in the game for quite a while. It is a level 7 Dark Machine effect monster with 2600 attack and 2200 defense. Galil Dragon says, once per turn you can target one monster your opponent controls, toss a coin 3 times and destroy it if at least 2 of the results are heads. So maybe not the craziest effect we've ever seen on a card, but still pretty cool. Coin flip cards have had a rocky history throughout Yu-Gi-Oh! And especially back in the day, a lot of them were not very good. You would have a pretty good effect if you got the coin toss right, but if you missed the coin toss, oftentimes it would have a huge downside. So while I'm not going to pretend like Galil Dragon was some overpowered card back in the day, I will say here the fact that it only has an upside and no downsides if you miss the coin toss was a pretty big deal. A few years later we got Galil Dragon from Flaming Eternity in 2005. This is a fusion monster that uses Galil Dragon and Blowback Dragon, and oh man was this thing powerful back in the day. If you play GOAT format, for example, you probably already know how good this card is, but let's take a look at what it does. Galil Dragon is a level 8 Dark Machine fusion with 2600 attack and 1200 defense. As I already mentioned, it takes Galil Dragon and Blowback Dragon to summon it, and it says once per turn you can toss a coin 3 times and destroy as many monsters on the field as possible, but not more than the number of heads. It's pretty insane when you compare Galil Dragon to Galil Dragon, because Galil Dragon is non-targeting and it can destroy up to 3 monsters, where Galil Dragon targets and you have to hit those 2 heads to destroy that 1 monster. Now you might be wondering, how were people really summoning Galil Dragon? Obviously the card is very strong, especially compared to other cards in 2005, but were people really playing Galil Dragon and Blowback Dragon and Polymerization to bring this card out? Not exactly. So there were 2 main ways to summon Galil Dragon that were very popular back in the day. You could summon Galil Dragon by using Metamorphosis on a level 8 monster, and that was very popular for a long time. You could summon something like BLS and banish a monster, and then summon Galil Dragon to destroy 3 more. That was a really effective board clear back in 2005. If you happen to have Cyberstein though, Galil Dragon would have been very good in your deck as well. Galil Dragon might not be guaranteed. I mean, I suppose you could miss all of the coin flips, but as long as you hit at least 1 heads with this effect, it was pretty darn powerful, and especially considering how popular Cyberstein and Metamorphosis were back in the day, it's no surprise that Galil Dragon was popular as well. This card was mandatory back then because you wanted to have this big sort of Regeki type effect in your extra deck whenever you needed it. Cyberstein and Metamorphosis could summon a bunch of different monsters for different situations, and Galil Dragon was one of the best when you wanted to break your opponent's board. Maybe it didn't have the raw power of some of the bigger attack monsters in the extra deck, and maybe it couldn't attack twice like Cyber Twin Dragon could, but it still was a great fusion monster and one and you always wanted to have just in case. Then in 2008 in the Duelist Genesis, we got Twin Barrel Dragon. Twin Barrel Dragon is the mini version of Barrel Dragon. Barrel Dragon has 3 blasters and Twin Barrel Dragon only has 2, as you probably guessed by the name. This is a dark level 4 machine effect monster with 1700 attack points and 200 defense. It says if this card is summoned, target 1 card your opponent controls, toss a coin twice, and if the result is 2 heads, destroy it. So this card is better in some ways and worse in some other ways than the original Barrel Dragon. It's better because it's a level 4 monster, which is pretty cool, and also it can target any card, not just a monster. It's worse though because you only get to toss 2 coins, not 3. Now flavor wise this makes sense, it only has 2 barrels instead of 3 barrels, but in terms of playability that does hurt this card quite a bit. You could also argue that it's a downside that it only activates when the card is summoned. It's not a hard once per turn and it will activate on any type of summon, but I think in some situations that is a downside because it makes the card less flexible. That's not a deal breaker though. I think the bigger downside is that you can only toss those 2 coins. Personally, considering where Yu-Gi-Oh was at this point in the game's history in the Duelist Genesis format, I think they really could have pushed this card's effect a lot more. It could have been a lot better. Compared to the other more consistently strong cards of 2008, Twin Barrel Dragon is just not good enough. Now we wouldn't see a new Barrel Dragon card for quite a while. It actually took until 2015 in Dimension of Chaos. Toon Barrel Dragon is a level 7 Dark Machine Toon effect monster with 2600 attack and 2200 defense. It says cannot attack the turn it is summoned. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, this card can attack your opponent directly. Once per turn, you can target 1 card on the field, toss a coin 3 times, and destroy it if at least 2 of the results are heads. Admittedly, Toon Barrel Dragon is pretty unimpressive. I'm pretty surprised at how bad this card is. I'm also not sure why this card doesn't have a special summon effect. That would have been pretty cool. Toon Barrel Dragon is interesting because it shows that Konami was willing to give Barrel Dragon another retrain in 2015, which obviously was a very long time since the original release, but still I think this card could have been a lot better. Luckily in 2018, out of Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium, we finally got a good Barrel Dragon retrain. Now Duel Links players are probably already very familiar with this card, but TCG players might not really remember this thing, but let's take a look at what it does. Desperado Barrel Dragon is a level 8 Dark Machine effect monster with 2800 attack points and 2200 defense. It says if a face-up Dark Machine monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn during the battle phase quick effect, you can toss a coin 3 times, destroy face-up monsters on the field up to the number of heads, then if the result was 3 heads, draw 1 card. This card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 level 7 or lower monster that has a coin tossing effect from your deck to your hand. Sadly, even with the other coin toss support out of Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium, Desperado Barrel Dragon was not quite good enough to be played in the TCG. I think the big thing that would need to be changed for this card to be better and maybe even playable in the TCG format would be to make that quick effect able to be activated at any point in the turn, not just the battle phase. Now in Duel Links, Desperado Barrel Dragon has been in the meta for several formats. Even right now, the card is very good. I've played against a lot of people using this card on the ranked ladder, and it's even performing pretty well in tournaments as far as I know. Desperado Barrel Dragon in that game is even crazier because there is a skill in that game where if you have 7 different cards in your deck that all have coin toss effects, your first 3 coin tosses of the duel are all heads, which obviously makes cards like Desperado Barrel Dragon and plenty of others a lot more powerful. So even if this card wasn't quite good enough to see play in the TCG format, at least it got to go in Duel Links and be a very powerful card. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Icons. Like I mentioned, there are other episodes in this series, and I'll make sure to link them at the end of today's video. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.